Welcome back to Crazy Bill's Garage, and today I got my old power pack. Actually, it's not that old, less than 2 years old, and I can't get the battery to charge in it. So I'm taking it apart. So I already have most of the screws out, and I just have to get the rest of them out. So that's what I'm going to do. I like this one. It has a little, what do you call that? A tire pumper on this one. It's not a selling feature or anything, but it is kind of neat. Let's see. Where do I have these screws in? I have one here. And this is the wrong, well, actually this screwdriver will work, but it's not very good. Let's see. I can get those screws out there. I'm just trying to grab a magnet, put on my screwdriver. That's a trick, by the way, if you want your screwdriver to become magnetized. So if you can get screws out that are magnetic, of course, and of course that didn't work. That's fine. It'll come apart anyways. Go. Screw fell out, and I am using another magnet to hold all my screws. That works for you, doesn't it? And I dropped that one on the ground. All right, with that one on the magnet. Let's see what we got here. All right. We've got, well, we got wires. We got wires, connectors. It looks like it'd be pretty easy to take this battery out, actually. Yes, it is pretty easy to take this battery out. I'd also like to test this battery right now, and then I'm actually going to put it on the charger, charge it up, and we'll see if it comes back to life. So I have unattached the battery, and you know what? I just kept all the bolts and everything. I kept everything in the place where it should, and just put the nut back on it to make sure. I got my Astroya. What is this? Multimeter here. I think sometimes my mouth is quicker than my brain. I couldn't even remember what it was. But Astroya multimeter. Astroya. What else did I use? It was Astroya. Oh, my foam cannon. Right, it was Astroya. So let's go to negative and then to positive. See what we got. 11.67 volts. And I have had this thing on charging with the plug-in for probably 6-7 hours yesterday, and that's all we got. Well, we're going to try to put some real battery power into it by using a 2 amp battery charger. We'll have to do that. So there we go. I got my MoreMaster, another battery charger we actually found, or I actually found at the dump. And it's a 2 amp, 12 amp, or 75 amp. All that I had to do was change the end. So yes, I changed the end to a very insane looking end. I just had to patch into the wire. And I am sure this is now working just fine as I grab my multimeter again. We'll see if it is actually charging, which I'm sure it is. There we go. Get onto this prong, get onto this prong. And we are charging at 13.14 volts. So I'm going to leave that on there for probably 3-4 hours. And I'm going to come back and yeah, we'll see what the results are. Actually, maybe I'll leave it on for 3 or 4 hours, then take it off, let it sit for an hour, and see what the results are. Because these things shouldn't lose any power, should they? They're a battery pack battery. They should be allowed to be recharged constantly. And later we'll take a look at this battery and see what type it is. And I know you can get replacements for these. but I don't want to spend almost the same amount of money for a battery as I did for a cheap charger or a what do you call that thing? Right, it's called a jump starter. I got hooked up on battery charger. But yeah, we'll come back in a couple hours and see what we got. I'll tell you it'll be like right now. So here we are. I did charge it up with the Motormaster to 2 amp charge. We did get her up to 12.99. It was up to 13.2 at one point. And it's been going down, but that's normal because these batteries only hold what 12.6 or something. But we're gonna leave her for a while, and it's gonna be a long weekend, so maybe come back on Tuesday, and we'll check it out then and see what it is. But maybe before that, let me try to do something else. So there we are, we're back in the machine. Well, technically, I've just got her hooked back up to the wires. And let me hit this button to test. So yeah, it's showing full now, right? Okay, it's showing full. So all I did was hook the multimeter up to the ends here. And we're gonna see, when I turn the switch on here, we're gonna see what it is. So there we go. Yeah, we're pretty well at full charge. Now that is something, but I couldn't get this thing to charge with a plug-in. So we're gonna try something there. So I have it plugged into the wall unit here with the plug that came with it. And we're getting that much through. Let us see. Turn it back on. Yes, we are getting 13.7 volts through. So it is charging, but it wouldn't charge. See, look at this. When it's plugged in, it won't. Okay, I gotta figure that out. So unplug now. I unplugged it from the machine here, so it's not plugged in. Like this. It did bump it up, so it is charging. And we're back to full lights here. Something wrong with that charger. Might have to try a different one. So I was wondering if there's battery charge going into the battery. So I got her plugged in again here. See right there, she's plugged in. And let's see, let's look at the meter here. So yes, there is charge going into the battery when it's plugged into the wall. Now the thing is though, why does it not show on the buttons here? Let's unplug it. Okay, now let's try it. And now it shows. So technically, maybe, is there nothing wrong with this and I didn't have to do anything? Because she is... No, I unplugged it. So let me plug her back in here. There we go. Shows that it's plugged in. And yes. So it is charging. When I turn this on, the power, it shows still, yeah, charge. So, okay. Maybe there was nothing wrong with this. Maybe it was just not plugging in right. I had to take it apart. Maybe I had a few bolt was loose here. I don't feel like it was. I don't know. The only thing I had to do is I'm going to let her sit for a few days. I'll come back, I'll unplug it, see how far the battery is drained, and we'll go from there. So it's been 3 days since I've last been with this, and we're going to see if it actually held its charge. If this battery is actually good. It might not be good. I'm hoping it is good. So let us see here. Let's turn on that multimeter. Let's get this on here. And, oh, 12.81. Okay, it held its charge just fine. But now let's test it. Let's test it. I'm going to hook it to this deadish battery to prove that. I will check to see what charge this battery has. 7.91. Yeah, it's pretty dead. Very dead, I must say. And let me put this one on. There we go. Got that one on. And I'm going to turn this on. Showing full power. There we go. Now, show that it's actually working. Because, you know, YouTube likes to know if it's working or not. Because you got to get all these readings. And there we go. There we go. This battery is taking a charge from the battery booster. Well, what is this? It's a battery pack. You know, it's an EverStart jump starter. So it is actually taking charge. So it's actually putting out. Wow, that's neat. So that's actually working. We'll let that go for a few minutes here. Then I'll check this battery again. And we'll plug in the charger to see if it charges. Well, we've been about 10 minutes, so we're going to turn this off. There we go. Still showing full charge. I'm going to take these off. There we go. Put these back on. Wow, it did wonders. It did pump it up a bit. That's amazing. Now, for being on this battery for 10 minutes, did it actually take off any of the battery here? Let's see. This battery is so much bigger than this tiny little battery. Well, let's see here. Actually, no. Don't think it took off much at all. Let's plug her in. Let's plug her in and see what we get. We're coming to the end of this video, so there we go. Got her plugged in. Red light's on, saying she's plugged in. And da-da. Yeah, she's plugged in and charging. Does it charge with it on? Here, move that out of the way. I don't remember if it does. It was like 3 or 4 days ago. Yeah, it charges while it's on too. So there we go. Well, maybe it was me who just didn't understand. No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me at all. It was this battery probably got so low from sitting in the garage for 6 months in the cold that it couldn't get charged with this tiny little plug-in it has. So small to charge this. Puts out 14 volts though, as you see. And it just couldn't bring this battery out of it was super duper. And believe me, when I had this thing was on like this, so it was always putting out energy no matter what. So it was dead. It was super dead when I first brought it in. So after it had time to warm up though, after I brought it in, I think it did rejuvenate it a bit. But by then I decided to make a video on how to figure out if this battery was dead or not. And I don't know, still good idea. But I honestly, there was probably nothing wrong with this. And if I had to just let it warm up fully for a day or whatever, let the battery unfreeze or whatever it was, it would have been fine. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, it's that kind of crazy stuff I do and don't think about when I do it. All right. Thanks for watching.